sleep and then okay, she got up and brought her here. Thank you so much. I was just sharing that children are such that she said yes. Nowadays children will say, Mom, I'm not going to come. I'm not going to give up my sleep, isn't it? So thank you so much, SAAVI, for being here, and now over to you. Yes.
Can you guys hear me? Good? Okay. Hi. Good morning, everybody. My name is SAAVI, and I just graduated from undergraduate college in the United States, and I studied political science and international studies. So I was a full liberal arts student. So today I'm going to talk to you about why study the liberal arts. In India, I see that a lot of people want to be doctors and engineers, and they want to focus on the STEM, right? They want to solve those problems. But how is a liberal arts education going to help you in those fields and help you in other fields? That's what I'm going to talk about today. The first reason you might want to study liberal arts is because it gives you a broader view of the field you are pursuing. Let's say you're studying STEM. Let's say you're studying medicine, okay? A liberal arts education will help you understand why are some populations more prone to drug abuse than other populations? What policies in India, in the United States, in Germany have made it so that some populations suffer more from some diseases than other populations? Why are some populations not as cared for by the government, by those policies? Why do you see more people walking into your hospital of the same type of social class, of the same race, of the same culture? Why do they suffer more than other people? Now, as a doctor, you can treat these people that walk into your hospital by giving them certain medications, certain rehabilitation. But you can more effectively treat these patients by reversing the policies that made it that way in the first place, by preventing those diseases in the first place. But to do that, you have to understand human population. You have to understand sociology. You have to understand policies and politics. So liberal arts can make you a more effective doctor. In business, let's say you have investment properties. You own homes and apartments. But suddenly, the economy starts to inflate, and your properties start to lose value. Now you're a STEM major. You start to see your money's going down. What do I do? Where is the solution to this problem? History. In history, other housing markets have crashed before. And what did people do to solve that? How did they save their money? You have to study what happened in the past in order to shape your present, to shape your future. And that's what a liberal arts education does. You look at the United States in 2008, a huge housing market crash happened. Only 4 people in the United States became billionaires from the housing crash. Everybody else lost money. A liberal arts education teaches you to read about those people. What did they do differently? So a liberal arts education can make you a better doctor, can make you a better businessman. Another thing that a liberal arts can make you do is make you progress in your field. You could be a doctor, but how can you be a great doctor? You could be a businessman, but how can you be a CEO? I know all of you students are like me, you're very ambitious. You want to go far in life. You don't want to just be average. How can you do that? In medicine, you can become the manager or the hospital administrator, not just doctors. And how can they do that? You can be a better communicator. You can understand better, you can understand people more. For example, a young girl comes into your hospital. She's there with her husband. And a doctor will and she will say, I'm having issues in my pregnancy. A doctor will say, okay, what are the problems? And let me treat them. But a great doctor will understand to tell this husband, excuse me, sir, can you step out? Let me talk to your wife alone. Let me talk to her in privacy. Because a great doctor understands humans. They understand communication. They can look at this woman and say, she's not comfortable talking about this in front of a man. She needs a woman and a woman to discuss this. That makes a great doctor. She understands her patients. That's how you progress in that field. A businessman. You can be a businessman, but how can you be a manager or a CEO? You are a global citizen. That's part of the vision of being this school, right? To be a global citizen, to be a future leader. How do you do that? You understand different people, different cultures, different countries, their laws, their religions. How can my business help those countries progress? How can my business be a global business? That's how you grow. That's how you become a CEO. That's how you become these bigger people, bigger than just one city or one state. You need a liberal arts education to understand all of those things, to get a broader perspective of human beings. Finally, my favorite example is in engineering. Everybody thinks engineering is just a STEM field. But let's say you want to create a chatbot. Who here knows what ChatGPT is? Anybody? ChatGPT? You ask a question and it comes back in a conversation, right? Now, the coders can code the algorithm for that. But they had to hire a liberal arts mind to understand, what do humans want from a chatbot? How do they respond to conversations? What do they want in response to their questions? They don't just want an answer. That's called Google. They want a conversation. That's called ChatGPT. That's the future. Who did they need to hire for that? A liberal arts mind. Now, a ChatGPT coder also needs somebody who understands linguistics. Think about all the different ways to ask the same question. How can I get from point A to point B? That's one question. What is the best way to travel to point B? That's another way to ask the question. There's so many different ways to ask the same question. So many different languages, so many different dialects, so many different ways of thinking. The chatbot is expected to understand all of these questions are the same and how to give that response. But how do we program AI to understand language, to understand how humans think? You need a liberal arts mind. You have to understand human beings, understand communication. That's how you go from a coder to a product developer, to a product manager. That's the difference. You understand people. You understand the product. Finally, and most importantly, a liberal arts education helps you solve societal problems. As a society progresses, you start to see major problems in all the industries, in all parts of society. And what do you see? You see bias and discrimination against certain types of people, against certain genders, against certain religions, certain cultures, sometimes even certain ages. What else do you see? You see issues with privacy and surveillance with the rise of technology. What else do you see? You see growing inequality in wealth, in education, in opportunities. Some people have a lot of wealth and education and opportunities. Some people have none at all. As you guys go through your education, as you go through life, you will start to see these problems. Now, a STEM student, they can focus on being a doctor, being an engineer, being a scientist. And you can stay within your STEM field and try to solve these issues by being a doctor or an engineer. But the best way to help your society progress through these issues is by understanding policy, understanding philosophy, understanding ethics, understanding history, understanding all the liberal arts fields. STEM is a narrow focus. Liberal arts is a broad perspective in what is really happening in my country, what is really happening in my world. How can we make the world a better place? You start to ask yourself these questions by reading books, by reading the news, by listening to the people around you. How can I make the world better? Where there is less war, less refugees, less people hungry, more educated youth, more fair governments, and more human rights. These are questions of a liberal arts education. You want to make yourself better, you want to succeed, but more importantly, you want to lift the world around you. Because you can't succeed unless everybody is succeeding. A country is only as strong as its weakest person. So you need to understand these issues. You have to know, what does the ideal look like in order to make the ideal happen? And that's why you study the liberal arts. Liberal arts majors have a vision. They are policymakers, they are educators, they are lawyers, they are social workers. They are the change. They are the future. And there is nothing more valuable than the vision for the future. Your principal, my mom's friend Alpa Masi, and Dr. Kotadia, to you all, had a vision to make students global leaders and future creators. And she created this whole school. She didn't do that through a STEM education. She did that through liberal arts, understanding this country. What does this country need? What do students need? And she is making the change. So if you want to make a change, study the liberal arts.
Showing the children how liberal arts is important. And I hope and I wish that each child sitting here will think in this direction. Isn't it? Yes. When we were studying, again coming back to, we were not knowing what is liberal arts, and at that time when we take humanities, they look about arts here. Our parents भी allow नहीं कर रहे हैं. Right? So today I want you to go home and share with your parents the importance of liberal arts. Okay, thank you so much, Sandy.